Hello. Class of cannabis. It's been a glorious year. I want someone in here to stand to their feet and tell me their best way to smoke. Who will it be? You right here. What's your name, girl?
Not him. It don't really matter when we all agree. What's your best way to smoke? Cause I'm rolling it up. Smoke like I ain't had enough. What's your best way to smoke? Cause I'm rolling it up. Smoke like I ain't had
What's up with y'all out there? This is the Best Way to Smoke podcast, and you smoking with Big J.
And Serpo Jr. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and tell a friend.
Most definitely do that. Do that. Hit it fast, and pass it along. Before we get started with the show, you know, we always like to say thank you. Thank all the viewers and subscribers that tune in and tap in with us. You know, people that leave comments, all that good stuff, though. Don't we appreciate that, Serpo?
Much love and appreciation.
For sure, for sure. So before we get into the show, we gonna stop in with the Best Way to Smoke tip. What's the tip, Serpo?
Yeah, today's best way to smoke tip is going out to my blunt smokers, my backwoods smokers, joint smokers. You know, because you go out there, you hit your chest. Sometimes, you know, people get the drip lip, this, that, and the other. And to your discretion, they got these little filter tips, little tips, you know. Imagine this is your blunt, your wood, put him up in there. Take your little hit. Your lips never touch the blunt, the wood, the joint, whatever it may be. You know, and you keeping your germs to yourself. You ain't spreading it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a dope tip, especially if you going to a sesh event or some shit like that. You know, you can put it in, hit it, and pass it along, and you ain't gotta have no contact with nobody else. Especially in a day and age like this with COVID and shit like that still floating around, man. So that's definitely a good buy if you a stoner.
Yes, indeed. I like it. I just started using them. The filter is like I get a better hit. It's all good all the way around.
Yep, best way.
So
look, we're going to jump into the show. We want to talk about a California bill allowing interstate marijuana commerce and protected employees advance while psychedelic legalization fate is unclear. So basically what that is like, what we talking about with this is it's unclear what's going to happen with the psychedelics, because just a few months ago they was talking about legalizing it, though, like it was going to happen, you know. But now they get to we here now, and it's a hurdle that it's still got to go through to get legalized. And for me, before we really dig into it, it was just kind of a shocker that shit was even on the table to be legalized. You know what I mean?
For like the psychedelics.
Right.
Like shit like shrooms and like stuff
shrooms,
like that.
LSD, acid.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Like,
you could probably kind of see the shrooms a little bit though, but the LSD and the other shit like that's a little bit, you know, too much though. So look, California lawmakers advanced bills to authorize interstate marijuana commerce, secure employment protection for people who use cannabis outside of the workplace, and prevent locality from banning medical marijuana delivery services toward crucial floor votes on Thursday. Legalization that would have legalized psychedelics possession was amended and in a way that remains unclear, however.
Yeah, that's kind of like crazy. It's like because like these psychedelics that you speak of, it's so many different ones out there, and like we just spoke of, just LSD to like shrooms.
Oh,
Not a big user of either one. Never even tried neither one.
me neither.
But I ain't gonna lie, the shrooms, I'm kind of leaning toward to see what's up with that psychedelic. No, but like on a serious note though, you have some to where it's like you're using shrooms like recreationally. And it may not be as strong as something as a LSD,
Right.
you know, that's like potent. And I believe like it LSD can be up in your system for like up to like a year or something after use. So it's like you have some things that's like stronger than others, but then you putting like things as far as like shrooms, because I'm pretty sure like it was like on that realm to where they talking about somewhere of legalization.
Right.
You know, and it's like within like those expressions, they grouping everything into one. So if you grouping it into one, you're gonna take like the one that has like the most reviews about, the most comments about, and LSD been around there for like years within the Black and brown community.
For sure, for sure. And shit, on that note, like one of the most notable bills sponsored by Senator Scott Weiner would, as introduced, legalize the possession of certain amounts of psychedelics like psilocybin and MDMA by adults 21 and older. It had already passed the Senate and moved through 2 assembly committees, but it was placed on hold last year to build support before advancing through appropriation on Thursday's about in significantly amended form. What you think about that, Serpo?
Man, I don't even really know what these psychedelics are. For me to like really be putting that up, my opinion out there up on it. But it's like it seems as if this is like some type of strong little shit though.
Yeah.
Like just like from the sounding of it, and this only just my, my face value opinion.
Right.
And it's like if you already have something like this in rotation, you know what I'm saying, even to put out there for like the public to like really use in this aspect, I mean, it's something behind it.
For sure, for sure. And it's like what they was trying to pass, it's like as a society we must stand, watch and oppose and possess where corporate interests attempt to seize control of something that belongs to the people, DN said in a statement last month. And that's basically saying like shit that's grown that come from the dirt, we should be able to use and indulge and do whatever we want to do with.
Yeah, but it's like it seems as if they putting attention towards these psychedelics and like really on the edge of like passing things. And it's like if you put it that way, it's grown, and this, that, and the other. Cannabis is grown, and they putting this as Schedule 1. I'm not sure if they have these psychedelics up there as a Schedule 1.
Right, yeah, they are. LSD, all that shit is a
You know what I'm
Schedule
saying?
1.
But if they moving close to like, all right, if it's grown like a mushroom or something like that, and it's like, all right, we on the verge of like really getting this passed so it can be like legal for people to use 21 and over. It's like why cannabis is like taking so long.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I get your point on that. And like in this article, it's basically saying cannabis has a better chance of becoming federally legalized than the psychedelics and shit like that. But I definitely agree with you that cannabis, weed, fucking pot, all that good shit, green shit, it should have been legalized and decriminalized on the federal level.
Yeah. And on another note too, though, it's like if they pass this bill right here, as far as these psychedelics, like in that realm, you do have some people that are behind bars behind it. You even may have some people that's like in certain mental institutions behind certain psychedelics, behind like, I guess you want to say criminal offenses. And if that's the case, once this bill, like if it is passed, those individuals will be able to like, you can say have a clean record as far as the LSDs and the psychedelics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So like right here, this is a list of these are the prescribed limits for personal possession that would have been legalized under the bill. So 2 grams of DMT, which is like a mushroom, 15 grams of ibogaine, 0.01 grams of LSD. We know what that shit is. 4 grams of mescaline, 2 grams of controlled substance of psilocybin, or 4 ounces of a plant or fungi containing the controlled substance psilocybin.
So with that, I think like I'm guessing like psilocybin. I don't got my phone and stuff around to look at it. Yeah, I'm thinking it's starting to be something as far as like the mushroom, or like a little fungi, as they say right here, that'll cause you to like, get a little trippy.
Yeah.
And what's that? 2 grams of the controlled substance? Oh, that's what you said right there. And 4 grams of MDMA. this is like that's like a lot of little psychedelics,
That's
you
a
know,
lot.
that's like out there.
Right.
I'm not sure, like you know what I'm saying, like how, like what's the dosage of this that'll make you trip this way and trip that way. But it's like, just imagine if you just like a fresh user trying to come in. They say you can have up to this
Right.
because you have some people that'll just be like, oh, I can have this, so therefore I'm finna go get this. I'm finna use this. Then you go into a a trippy state.
And then look. So those are different things that you can have. So what you might get a motherfucker that want to get every single thing and have some of everything. It's not saying that you can't have all of everything at one time. It's saying, but you can have this amount of this and this amount. So I think that shit is, it can be useful for whatever use there is, but I think that shit can be harmful to even put that shit out there to make it to where it's legal in that form, because you got some people that don't know how to handle or control the stuff that they intake.
Yeah.
And you might have somebody that take the shit and hallucinate and fucking do some crazy shit. You know what I mean? So if you know what you're doing, like with the mushrooms, and shit like that, do what you do though. But with all the other stuff like the LSD and other things that's like modified and stuff, fuck that.
And this really goes into what Best Way to Smoke been saying, like really about, excuse me, up in our cannabis world. If you are like a user of any type of psychedelic, like know your body, know the usage, know your dosage, and it's like, even though we speaking about what you can have or whatever,
right?
This is not legal to have. This is what would have been like legal to have if they passed this bill.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's what it is, right now.
And it's like, so it's like some type of information is being found to halt the bill, to probably try to get more specific with it.
Right.
Because if you get more specific, some of this stuff, it appears to be heavy. But then again, on this list, like pretty much as far as like the fungi and the little plant-based type stuff, like the shrooms and everything, it seemed like that's like on a recreational level, like to a certain extent. But then it's like you got other stuff that's on there that may be like stronger. You may need for like certain medical use or something like that. So it's like they still, it seemed as if like they getting everything together to be like a little bit more specific.
Right. So, like this bill also originally included record sealing and resentencing provisions for people previously convicted of psychedelics possession offenses. But that language was removed in its last committee stop prior to the Senate floor vote as part of an amendment from the sponsor.
Yeah, and that's like, that's pretty much what I was stating earlier. It's like if the bill would have passed, people with those psychedelic possessions, it would have been overturned. But certain things, it's like within that last committee, information that came up to where they put a halt to that. So it's like, again, this is what would have happened if that bill would like pass and things up under that would happen.
Yep. That's a fact, man. So like the Senate bill sponsored by Senate member Anna Cabrillo, the bill would set the stage to allow for interstate marijuana commerce from California to and from other legal states. So, basically it would have been able to been transported from state to state to state to state,
And that's what, with our cannabis?
No, with the psychedelics. On an official assurance that the activity would not put the state at risk of federal enforcement action. It is advancing as New Jersey Senate President filed a bill this week to allow interstate cannabis commerce. Assembly Bill 2188. Assembly Member Bill Quirk D. Bill would make it unlawful for an employer to discriminate against a person in hiring, termination, or any term of condition of employment, or otherwise penalize a person solely because of off-duty marijuana use. It would eliminate employment-based THC testing with exception for certain possession, such as federal employees or those working in construction. So this is amidst, like everything, with the what would have been in that bill.
Mm-hmm. Under assembly, yeah. And that's cool as far as like with the cannabis. Now we're moving over with the cannabis if we're talking about the Assembly Bill 2188.
Yeah.
Because that's like if you're going to get you a job, say you moving from job to job and you're a cannabis user, you got a better opportunity, like for advancement. And it's like sometime before, it's like you get tested, you got marijuana in your system, it's like no advancement for me.
Yeah.
So now with this measure right here, I'm not going to sit here and just say like, man, it's just outright cool for you to go ahead and smoke weed, and it's like, you see how they emphasize like in the construction field. Like if your usage of any type of cannabis, like I have you in a state to where you're going to be clumsy or whatever it may be, and you're working around heavy
Drowsy.
machinery, that's like kind of like being irresponsible.
Yep.
And that'll like hurt what's really trying to go by. Because like the responsible user gonna be like, all right, man, after this hard day's work, I'm finna hit the pad, have me a little doobie, a little joint, however you want to do it. Find your best way to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And with this bill, it's like, man, no more discrimination against that. If you want to find your best way to smoke, you can find your best way to smoke, as long as it's responsible.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing with it is being responsible. It's a lot of these different bills and a lot of these different things going on because everybody that want to see it decriminalized on a federal level has their own reason and has their own mission to why they want to see that. One of our biggest reasons is we want to see a lot of people come home. We want to see a lot of people, lose convictions that's on their record. That's might be holding them back from certain opportunities and shit like that, though. So we just want to tell the people, man, stay aware. If you're affected by weed in some way, or you're using weed, or you want to get into the industry, just be aware of what's going on with these different bills and how different things is moving and how shit is shaking up.
Yeah, it's another one out here I want to point out too. It's an Assembly Bill 1885. And it's Assembly Member Ash Carla. She's a Democrat, and it will prohibit regulators from penalizing licensed veterinarians who recommend medical cannabis for animals and revise state law to include definitions of marijuana products intended for animal consumption. The Veterinary Medical Board would also be required to create guidelines for veterinarian cannabis recommendations. And that comes to my attention because like it's certain like cannabis products as far as CBD,
Right.
that's pretty much good for our animals, joint pains, this, that, and the other. And I got a pit bull. I got a 12-year-old pit bull,
Yep.
what should be 12-year-old in October. That's right around the corner. And it's like, it's certain cannabis products that I have gotten to where it's like, I can see it will ease up her pain and this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, it wasn't like pretty much like prescribed or like that, but it was like passed through information from veterinarians. So it seemed as if like they've been trying to crack down on that consumption as far as like with our animals and stuff.
Right.
So if it's like a good medical use for our animals and this, that, and the other, they just really pretty much asking for like a stricter definition. You know what I'm saying? The like a little bit more information and know that like this is for our animals. I'm speaking from a dog like owner, but you have people, cats, horses, whatever it may be.
All kind of different animals.
And that's
stuff.
Assembly Bill 1885. Ask Carla.
And right now, as far as with that bill, it's not illegal to give it to your pets right now, though, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not illegal. But it's like, like with I'm going to say the war on cannabis. It's like that's part of a cannabis product.
Right.
So, is if you got your paperwork and everything lined up as far as like the medical usage of it,
right,
certain rules, regulations, state laws, federal laws, it's a little less stringent for the medical consumption of it, long as you got it like down packed, and that's what they asking for pretty much in this bill. Just like be a little bit more precise of what you prescribing for the animal, You know, make sure the definition is like is well put so it's understood worldwide. You know, and it's like you'll be okay because it's like somewhere along the line somebody that made a complaint about the consumption of it with animals or whatever it may be. It's still cannabis use, so it's like they not discriminating against the animals.
Right,
You know, so
right.
it's helpful all the way around the board, not just for human consumption. And you know, in certain states, harmful acts to animals is damn near like doing something to a human.
Yep, yep. So look, for pet owners, for just humans, for people, period, man. Just be aware of what's going on with that, and pay attention to the bills and stuff like that. And if you can vote in your city, state, vote and try to help get shit passed the way it should be going. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about
The Biden administration. The Biden administration defends the federal ban on gun possession by medical marijuana users. I wonder if that can be a gray area if, like, I'm a social marijuana user or a recreational marijuana user.
in some aspects, it's probably a gray area to that because shit, if you recreational, you don't have nothing documented in saying that you use marijuana. You know what I'm saying? So the Biden administration urged a federal judge to dismiss a lawsuit challenging the ban on gun possession by medical marijuana users, saying that law is consistent with a long tradition of firearm regulations in the United States. Furthermore, the Justice Department says that prohibition makes perfect sense because marijuana use impairs the ability to handle guns responsibly.
I want to like say a timeout right there with that. First, with the gun laws and things of such, I understand is major like gun activity like done across the world. You know what I'm saying? And every family, every person who fell to gun violence, my heart is out to you. But it's not the gun itself. You may have that person, doing the act with this. And
Right.
now, as far as you smoking marijuana with, and it may impair your ability to handle a firearm, I believe that to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if you're a seasoned marijuana user, you know what you can handle. Because some people, like
Right.
nowadays, it's like you wake up in the morning, you smoke your blunt, you hit your bowl, whatever it is, before you get to work or whatever it is, you hit your bowl. It just make you a better person.
It brightens
Sometimes
up your day.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's almost like a hit and miss right there.
Right.
Because it's like I feel as if that's judgmental. It's like you may be collecting certain data and you using the impaired data to like really base your decision.
Right.
Versus using it to like you got your cannabis users that's well responsible. Some of them be stoned as all outdoors. And it's like they come up with the best ideas, the best solutions, and the best gatherings and all. And it's like, I'm high as a motherfucker. So it's like, that's like a hit and miss. But you should still be responsible if you're handling any type of firearm, not just if it's with marijuana use.
Uh-huh.
You can, so what, is it okay since alcohol is legal and you can go buy it? Is it okay that you have a couple drinks of beer and a shot of tequila and still handle your gun? Is that better? So it's kind of like,
Yeah, to me though, I feel the same way, and because it's like you got motherfuckers that get prescribed medicine, opioids, and all them other drugs that prescribed medicine that could put you down, make you impaired and shit like that. And that it might even just take you out your mind and shit like that, where you might fucking start tripping.
man.
So it's to just label that with weed, I think it's some bullshit. I think it's some bullshit.
Man, really?
Because it could be labeled with everything else. With liquor. Liquor is legal. You know, and it's not, you know, labeled with that. You can drink and own a gun. A lot of motherfuckers get drunk and do a whole bunch of dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
to just try to aim that towards marijuana, I think it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
The fight against cannabis, man.
Yeah, but you like you said something that's like real important. Like you may have an injury or something, and you may be prescribed something that may have you to be impaired. You have some of our
Facts.
sworn officers that's on a police force. They may get injured or something, have an accident, and they may be prescribed something medically,
Great point.
and that may have them impaired. Is it okay for them to go and still be out on the force
Man,
with their firearm, this, that, and the other?
man.
But you making this out here for regular citizens, you know?
And that's a hell of an argument right there. That would be a hell of
Man.
an argument in court type shit.
Like, and it's like that. It's crazy because we talking about it, and it's like we just sit here speaking freely, talk like this, really pretty much sharing our opinion. And you sit here and you say, like, man, you got some people that's prescribed certain things. The police and all that, they not exempt from that.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? And then it says that ban is surely overboard, since it includes people who were never deemed dangerous to others and last long after they were subjected to involuntary treatment. But the rule is not nearly as broad as the Justice Department implies. If the federal government can draw justification among the mentally ill, the vast majority of whom are allowed to own guns, why does it assume that all cannabis consumers are incapable of exercising that right without endangering the public?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically breaking down what we saying, and kind of in layman's terms, it's like, shit though, why do they want to put that stigma on weed when it's a lot of other things that people get addicted to and that might cause a person to want to harm somebody or harm themselves? You know, just speaking in the realm of addiction, you know, a person that's addicted to opioids fucking might go do some nutty shit, you know, to get some money to get their opioids or to get whatever, or PCP or just different kind of shit like that. But a person that smoke weed, from my knowledge of from what I've been knowing all these years, is a person that smoke weed, if you ain't got no money to get no weed, you just ain't finna get no weed. You not finna go rob somebody.
You gonna be high as a motherfucker the next time you smoke some weed.
But you not finna go rob, or you gonna borrow some money. Man, I need some money. But you're
Gather
not
them
finna go,
roaches up.
yeah, or you not finna go rob and steal to
Nah.
get high, to get some weed.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's just a catch-22 the way that they trying to connect
like,
the
yeah,
dots.
I want to go just like it's on topic, but it's kind of like a side note too, though. It's like they bringing up gun laws for like cannabis users and things of such. But you do have other American citizens that's out here that may have been through certain things involving cannabis, you know, that may cause you to like may have to go get rehabilitated, you know, go to the pen, the county, whatever it may be. But you go and you do your time, you pay your debt to your society, this, that, and the other. But it's like you still held captive because this American right to bear arms is still kind of stripped from a person that may have had a mishap. Go to a rehabilitation center, and it's like if you grant it back to society on the stipulations of your probation and your parole, bam, and you actually pass this, showing that you're a citizen, you paying your taxes, you taking care of your family, this, that, and the other, you still low-key being held against, like free will.
Yep.
And it's like now they putting like extras on it with the gun laws.
Yep.
Now you're trying to bring the cannabis into it. If you're using cannabis, we trying to like make it so you can't use it because you impaired.
Right. Or just to give you the option, okay, you want to smoke weed, whether it's recreational or medical, because, you know, you get some extra benefits with it being medical. So some people might want to get their medical license to be able to smoke. So they looking at it like, okay, so you want to get your license to smoke? Well, fuck it then. We gonna restrict you from having a pistol. You can't have no guns and shit
but
like
what if
that.
somewhere
Though.
up in there, it's like you may have the medical condition, but it's like, all right, you still allowed to have the gun now. You have to have the medical thing.
Man, well, however the underlining whatever the underlining facts and the little loops and the cracks and that we don't know about with this situation is it's a situation shit.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy, man.
yeah, but I just say, look, man, just again, like we say, stay aware of what's going on. It's really not much we can do right now because the feds is like, fuck that. This is what it is. The only thing we can do is just spread the information and and push it to people that care about shit like this. So we're gonna move on to the next topic. Can memory loss be good? How cannabis can help with PTSD. So this is a an article we picked up off Leafly. You know, that's Leafly. That's a credible source on where to find a good dispensaries and different information at to get your weed and shit like that though, and different cannabis products. So look, so basically like we gonna say like what is PTSD, right? So a majority of people, approximately 55%, experience trauma at some point in life. The trauma includes physical accidents or assaults involvement in combat or disasters, or witnessing the death or injury of others, and events such as sexual assault or abuse. So those, for example, are certain things that could put you into a state of post-traumatic stress syndrome, to where maybe like it's certain things that might react and might cause you to have a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
Or just to overreact with a situation, your heart might start racing and shit like that, or having symptoms of a panic attack and not quite a panic attack, or even feeling like you're gonna have a heart attack because you just kind of overreacting with shit like that though because of the trauma, like all the way down to being in a car accident. So I personally know people that have been in car accidents and now they don't like to drive the freeway, or they don't even really want to be in the car, or they don't want to be the passenger in the car, or they don't want to ride in the back seat of the car because that's where they were when that traumatic situation happened to them. So just in that realm of dealing with post-traumatic stress, and you think with weed, the way weed come together makes you feel good, makes you happy, kind of makes you laugh, makes you relax. And there's certain different strains that you can fuck with that's, high in CBD, high in different benefits that might help you, just kind of relax and shake that anxiety and stuff like that though. But you definitely got to find the right strains, because they have strains and shit. If you dealing with anxiety and you smoke that shit, your anxiety might fucking skyrocket. So it's definitely important to be knowledgeable, and when you go into them dispensaries and to ask them questions and to get all that information. And us at Best Way to Smoke, we want to definitely say, go out there and support, the legal dispensaries and the dispensaries that's doing this shit the right way.
Mm-hmm. It's like with this PTSD stuff, it's some people may like not want to recognize that like they may have certain symptoms of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good to pay attention to yourself, because I know for like a little while, like I'd have been through YA before. And it's like going through there is with teenagers. It's gladiator type stuff. So it's like when I like was coming home, when I came home, and it's like I'd be in like social areas, social settings. Like sometimes it's like I'm glad I have a certain level of self-control because I can recognize it.
Right.
And I hated me like, man, you cool. But it's like I find myself sometimes like being kind of standoffish. It's like in certain like crowded areas or whatever it may be, due to certain situations of the past. But then again, it's like I said, like I smoke my little Gorilla Glue, my OG, my heavy OG, whatever it may be. It's like, what's happening? It's cool. What's going on? But it's like, I bring that up to say, it's like, if you aware of it, like what you've been through, certain things that like, if you feel your body, like a little nervousness or a little clamminess, when you in certain situations, if you pay attention to it, you'll know, like, all right, this is a reaction of such and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you may have your cannabis user to where it's like, man, this right here eases it so good. With
Yep.
this cannabis juice, I'm so mellow, I'm so relaxed. I can get through my job day, I can get through my workout. I'm more social with my family and friends, so on and so on. You know, and this is some of the stuff that's like beneficial within our community because you never know what a person has been through or going through and how this may help
Yep.
emotionally, physically. You
Yep.
know, it's like cannabis. It's like it has an answer to every problem you can come across. Like
For real. It does. And we're gonna ask a question. How does cannabis help with PTSD? And one well-known side effect that often accompanies cannabis use is memory loss. Ironically, this can actually be helpful for people with PTSD. First, before we move on, do you believe that weed can cause memory loss?
Honestly, yeah, I think so.
You think it's the weed or you think it's the
I don't know,
person?
cause like we chopped it up. I was like, man, is it really like a memory loss if you can be reminded and you know what's popping?
Yeah, that's short-term memory loss.
And then it's like, all right, cause like I told you, like it be times like I'll be blowed and I'm like dipping on the road on the freeway, and it's like I'm so zoned out, and when I zone back in, I be like, man, where the fuck I'm going?
Huh.
And I got to think about it a little bit. Oh,
Going to the house and shit.
so but it's like that's like I don't know. It's short term. It's bad. I don't know if it's bad or if it's just like goofiness.
Yeah. And then you could think about it in the realm of this. You know, a lot of people that been through traumatic experiences, like, you know, coming from the inner city, from the hood, all that shit like that. It's like you done probably seen somebody get shot.
Mhm.
You done seen somebody smoking dope. You might have seen somebody get raped. It's all kind of different things that you done been exposed to, especially just think about as a kid, as a youngster. You know, and it creates them stresses, them certain triggers that might, you know, hit you at some points where you try to avoid certain places, avoid certain people, avoid certain situations because you can't cope or can't deal with that shit though. But just in the realm of smoking weed, like we say, and like it's proven, you know, it's studies about the shit though. Weed put you in a happy place, you know. But it's about knowing what you smoking and what you know, how you gonna get there, because it's different strains. Like you have sativa, it's more of a energetic kind of smoke type shit. So if you a person that got anxieties and shit like that, it might kind of boost you up to where you like, oh,
A little bit more paranoid.
you know what I mean? But if you smoke, you know, you a person dealing with anxieties and shit like that, and you smoke an indica, a heavy indica, it's gonna have you relaxing and shit. You might put a movie on and shit, don't sit there laughing with your girl or some shit. You know what I mean? And be in a good zone. So it's just about, you know, knowing your tolerance and knowing what to use, what to consume, and all that good shit.
Yeah. And what I would say right here with that, like just to piggyback with what you're saying, it's like if you are a person like with high anxieties or stuff like that, and say you do like use cannabis and you use an indica based, like if it's a gummy, a brownie, or even flower, whatever it may be, pay attention still to yourself as far as like the activities you engage in, the stuff that's keeping you calm or whatever it is, because there may be a point in time you may not have the cannabis. But you do know this activity that I did during cannabis, it calmed me like a little and it helped me cope.
Yep.
You know, so it's like still like use the cannabis, don't let it use you. Like know yourself, learn from it.
Yep.
Like I'm high as a mug, but still I'm doing this and it made this anxiety so common. Maybe this will help over here on this end.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. So it's like this, you know, if you're a person out there that's struggling with PTSD, and you know you haven't talked to nobody, you haven't seen a doctor, or you know, or just even talked to a friend or family member, you know, it's help out there, and you know, cannabis might be a help for you. You know, so, you know, maybe go to a dispensary, talk to some people that work there and get something that'll be right for you. Even if you're not smoking this shit, though, you might can get some edibles or something that
Man,
can
reach
help
out
you.
the best way to smoke.
Yeah, tap
Big
in.
J, Serpo Jr., we
We'll-
up for a conversation. We
We'll-
into helping our
Hey,
own.
look, we'll recommend you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We totally into helping our own.
So look, we're gonna move on to the next topic, and it's cannabis equity. So we got this off of the Department of Cannabis Control for California. So it's you know, we've been talking about the equity program that was in the MORE Act and different things that should happen and that's been promised to happen, you know, for people that's been affected by cannabis. So California's cannabis equity efforts support people and communities harmed by cannabis criminalization. These efforts lower barriers to the cannabis industry for those hit hardest by the war on drugs. So it's like the effects of cannabis criminalization. Cannabis prohibition had a devastating impact on Californians and people across the country. The long-term consequence of cannabis prohibition continue to impact people convicted of a cannabis offense, their families, the communities in which they live. And this is shit that we talk about all the damn time. You know, as far as, you know, it's not just the person that's getting locked up, you know, that's affected. It's the person's family also, and any family and friends.
Communities.
Yeah, the community.
And it's like, you know, to piggyback up off of that, it's like as far as like the people being convicted of cannabis, I can be like how we spoke about one time, like on a previous show, I can be a high school student. I can be on a track team or the high school basketball squad.
Yep.
No, I'm not a heavy cannabis user, but it's like, all right, we on a break. I'm chilling with my boys, or if you're female, I'm chilling with my girls. I hit the joint. Now one time push up on me, or the police push up on me. Now
Got
I'm
him.
stuck
Right.
with a felony offense
Yep.
for smoking a joint. And that's like, I'm not trying to harm nobody, no nothing. I'm actually in a state of mind of trying to have a good time. You know, so, and not only, like, with all this right here, not only is that track star, that basketball star affected, the family is affected.
Yep.
Because what if the mom and dad was, like, rooting for this child, not just for their own benefit, but, like, really because it's like, man, I want to see my child do something great. I'm hindered from having that little experience. You know, and then it's like I'm the star on the team. The community is like, oh, we ain't had something like this in so long. The community is invested into you.
Yep.
So now the community done took a hit. And we see it all across, like, in our urban communities.
Yep.
That, like, this happens like that.
Yep.
You know, so, man, we got to stop playing the games and legalize that stuff.
And here is
Decriminalize it.
Yep, decriminalize. So here are some of the challenges to entering the cannabis industry is getting access to capital, because, you know, you got to have the capital to get in. Understanding the complex regulatory requirements, you know, and this is a lot of the things that changed once it became legal, you know, states and shit like that.
And
you
keep
know,
in mind, like that right there, what you're saying, understanding complex regulatory requirements. We always tell the best way to smoke, family and community, to, like, know the rules and regulations within your state, your county, your region, you know, because it's like things are constantly changing. So keep up.
It's like finding locations where cannabis businesses can operate. And we just talked about that last week as far as some cities where it's prohibited and it's not prohibited.
Yeah.
You know, and developing business relationships and getting technical support. And getting technical support goes all the way down to advertising.
Yeah.
You know, which we talk about too, and having the ability to be able to advertise, because right now is limited. You know, so that's definitely a big part of it.
And it's like, even with that too, that they saying, it's like, if you a person that has like a cannabis conviction or something like that, and say it's been probably about like 20 years or something, you done came like you done paid your dues, this, that, and the other, and you became like well educated within this field.
Right.
You won't even be able. It'll be hard for you to use the knowledge and stuff you learned about that due to that conviction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like with that's a big challenge.
Yep.
Because it's like you have some people that don't really know anything about cannabis, but what you read.
Yep.
So if it's like that experience that a person have with the cannabis and stuff like that, and if you done got caught like criminally with it,
Right.
you won't even be able to share your news or the information that you have from you.
Right.
Somebody else may have to like be the delivery guy for that.
Yep.
And it's like, man, that's kind of janky right there.
Yep. And so like some other things that's going on in California. So California provides grants funding to local equity programs. These programs offer support to those harmed by cannabis criminalization. They provide opportunities tailored to the circumstance of their community and the experience of their residents. Local equity programs serve as hubs of innovation that surface best practices and show new and effective ways to provide support. Help.
That's neat.
No, go ahead. Come on.
No, I was just saying that's neat because it's like if you do have those cannabis criminalization problems, they have like programs out there to like help assist.
Yeah.
Like help you get over certain hurdles or something. Maybe something you may not be able to get into, but you may be able to talk to somebody, figure something out, and be like, "Oh man, you good at this too, though," and it's another little opportunity for you.
Yep. That's a fact. And local equity programs. If you're an equity business owner, you may be able to get help through your local equity program. This may include property application processing, access to business partnerships, interagency advocacy, reduced or waived local fees, technical support like one-on-one consulting and training, like one-on-one consulting and training, help with navigating cannabis licensing and regulatory requirements, low or no interest loans or grants. So that's a lot of different benefits, and it seems like California is trying to get on board with helping people that's really affected by weed, cannabis over the years, get on. But I think a big part of that push is going to come with the federal decriminalization of weed and shit.
Yeah, and do notate that all these local equity programs, it's all on a positive tip too, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like despite all the negativity that they say about cannabis, like everything right here that you named as far as property application processing, access to businesses and partnerships, technical support, one-on-one counseling and stuff, that's advancement of a people.
A lot of good shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good shit, though. So look, man, like we always say, we definitely want you guys to stay informed, stay aware on what's going on, and this is the Best Way to Smoke podcast. You smoking with Big J.
And Serpo Jr. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and tell a friend.
Best way.